Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to PBTV. So again, we've brought out another brand new item that's landed with us this week. I know a few people have been waiting for this, exactly the same as the Arcturus earlier this week. We've had a few messages about this, and we've grabbed one a little bit early so we can get a video done so that you can see exactly what this thing is capable of. So this is the CM.105 Daniel Defense EMG. So it's a collaboration between EMG and Cyma Platinum. So those two things put together individually, very, very good. Put together, you're going to get an absolute beast of a platform. So EMG are probably responsible for the licensing, externals, etc. The platinum side of it is what's inside. So if you do have any questions, please ask and drop them down below. We'll flash them up on screen and make sure that we answer them as quickly as we can. If not, I'll start at the front and work my way backwards. So I always quite like flash shaders when they're really, really flush to the rail. It means you can make a nice, neat front end of this. But you have a normal bird cage here, and on the bottom there is a grub screw. So if you remove that, underneath you will find yourself a 40mm counterclockwise thread. Take that off. You can put any of your normal accessories, attachments, anything like that on, your tracer units, all that kind of stuff that you're going to make, because people are going to trick these up. With it being the sort of Mark 18, these are going to get accessories added, all sorts of different bits and bats, and look really, really cool. But yes, accessories definitely will fit on the front. Coming back, we have the licensed Daniel Defense rail, again from EMG, so very high quality, very, very accurate to its real steel counterpart, with all the markings on it as well. So you've got the Daniel Defense markings, and then you have the RIS markings as well. So all these little white markings that you can see around it, so you've got R35, R33, etc., and you've got T31. So again, these are top, right, left, and you will have bottom as well. What this allows you to do is when you attach a accessory on this, and you just note in your head, so I've put my PEC box on T29 for a certain build, but then you change it up, so if you've got a magnifier and a dot sight, you know exactly where they're going to sit. If you've got a PEC box, you know exactly where that's going to sit. And then if you take them off and put a short dot on, you can swap and change between loadouts. Very, very easy without having to keep pushing it backwards and forwards. Again, with it being a quad rail, you've got pretty much all the real estate you could ever need. So you've got RIS going all the way across the top, right, left, and bottom. And then it is attached by the Allen key system that is very, very well known in the quad rail sort of scene. Receiver wise, so we have the officially licensed Daniel Defense receiver. So again, you do have the T markings on the top for the rail system. On the left hand side, we do have the Daniel Defense deep engraved markings. So they are cut into the receiver rather than it being laser engraved. So again, very, very detailed, very, very nice, really accurate to its real steel counterpart. Control wise, so it is right-handed dominant with it being the sort of standard Mark 18. So we've got the fire selector on the left-hand side, so safe, semi, and full auto. Mag release on the right and bolt catch on the left. Speaking of the magazine, so we have a plastic style magazine. It is a mid-cap, so again, 120 round mid-caps. You will need a speed loader to fill this up using the Sidewinder, the Odin, or just the normal injection style. Speed loaders will work perfectly fine. Other control wise, so we do have the charging handle. Bringing it back, it does lock open. So when it's locked open, you will find a rotary style hop system in there, and then pressing the bolt paddle, it will go forward. As I've always said, rotary style hop systems, very consistent, very accurate. So once it's set, it's going to stay there all day, depending on what weight BB you're going to use. Reaper. That's pretty. Has your high-speed motor. So with it being the platinum system, there's loads of extra bits internally. There's the MOSFET, there's polycarbonate parts, etc. Chronoing this and testing it just before the stream. So out the box, this is about 332 FPS, this particular one. And on a 7.4, this thing's chucking out about 16 rounds a second. So just absolute bog standard. With you don't have to do anything to it. When I say bog standard, as in you've just pulled it out of the box and stuck a battery into it, so you don't have to do anything. Even with a 7.4, this thing performs absolutely flawlessly. Very, very impressive. And what you'll notice, so when it's on safe, there is a trigger lock there. On semi, it goes back. There are no connections here. It is a very, very, you might, micro switch in there. So very easy to sort of bump fire, double tap, all that kind of stuff. And then if you need to, flick it to full auto, and you've got a 16 rounds a second platform on a 7.4. So you've got no risk internally with our power limits and pre-engagement and anything like that. So there's no need or interest to even look at 11.1s with this. Coming a bit further back, we do have the polymer grip. So the grip, stock, and mag are the only polymer parts on this. Apart from that, it is all CNC'd alley and steel where needed. But yeah, very, very top quality build. There's little to no rattle with this. I think the only rattle is actually the mag in there, which is completely normal. But apart from that, the rail, receiver, everything else has been put together absolutely flawlessly. Sling points, we've got a couple on the back here. So again, with a Mark 18, normally sort of single point sling system. So you can sling it left or right-handed in case you need to transition, because it's a right-handed platform, as is the controls. 6-position polymer stock, and then to get to the battery, you push the two clips at the back. The back will come off, and you can get to your battery, or you can just take the stock off completely. With it being a platinum, it is it's a version 2 gearbox, silver wiring into a Dean's connector. Again, Dean's connector, they're slightly better than the Tamiya's, just in longevity and the power transfer and sort of less resistance, electric resistance that they have. So very good connector. The sort of quality of the parts that they've used are very, very good. But overall, very, very impressed with this. As I've said, 330 FPS out the box, and internally you've got behind the 40mm counterclockwise thread, you have a 6.03 type bore. So again, another sort of one of my favorites. I'm not too keen on going a little bit any tighter than like 6.01s, really good for DMRs or snipers, but or something with a rate of fire like this, it might be a little bit too much. So 6.03 type bore, and it is a 310mm long barrel, so this thing is going to reach out. It is quite a sizable platform, so in its current setup, we're looking at about 73 centimeters, even reaching out, sort of tagging out to about 73 to 83. So CQB is going to be usable. It might be a little bit cramped in some spots if you're taking a knee or trying to hide a little bit, but outdoors, this thing is going to be absolutely incredible. Very excited to get people to get their hands on them. I think people are going to have a lot of fun with them. The flip-up sights are included, so they lock in place. There's no spring on them, just physically lift them up, and if you want to put them down, there's a button to drop them down. The rear is an aperture, and the front is a pin. Again, with this, you're going to trick this up with the sort of standard loadout. A lot of people like the holographic and 3x magnifier, PEC box on there, and attachment on the front, going for that sort of classic SF SEAL Team Delta Force style look that used to be popular back in the day, but still very much holds its ground and looks very, very cool. Super impressed with these out the box. I mean, this is the first one we've got, and we are expecting the full order to land very, very soon, but we're going to put these online so people can see, read, and get their sort of juices going about them. But if there's any other questions, Sam, can you tell me about Daniel Defense and what and why everyone's wanting it? Basically, it is the sort of SOT mod of Days Gone. So a lot of people are looking at like 416s or SCARs or something with the modern special forces, but this is the sort of classic look. There are still special forces units that will be using this, but it is the sort of be all and end all and sort of Swiss Army knife of platform from Days Gone that used to be able to do every job very, very easily. So what SOT mod used to be is you can just build this into any mission that you wanted. So you could put a short dot on it, dot sights, magnifiers, 203s. You could build this specifically for whatever mission you were doing, which made it very, very popular with Special Forces. And again, anything that's sort of Special Forces related, people like to try and copy. So it gives you a very, very good platform. So if you've got a MOSFET system that is very well built and you've got a good AEG, it is more popular to then be able to build that SF look out of. But if there's anything else, Speedy Boy, unrelated, but are Cyma shotguns coming back in stock? Cheers. They will be. Unfortunately, sat here, I won't know when. The best and only way to find out exactly when something lands in stock is to click that email back in stock button. There will be other things coming in the future to help with that, but the quickest way, as soon as it lands in the warehouse, you will get sent an email, a link, and you'll be able to jump on it straight away. We have an idea of when things are coming, but everything being delayed, it might be slightly different. Well, we don't want to make any empty promises, so hit that email back in stock, and that is the fastest way to do it. So if there are any other questions on the EMG, please ask them. I'll just do another quick overview. So we do have the 14mm counterclockwise thread under there. Reaper, is she well balanced? So I'd say a lot of the times they're sort of the weight is in the center of the receiver, and with this it's not much difference. But I do feel like the rail does spread the weight a little bit more forward than some other platforms. It is just over 2.7 kilos, so it is chunky. But yeah, it's definitely a chunky platform, and it's got some weight behind it. Once it's built up, it is going to add a bit more to that, so you are going to know about it when you're running around with this for a while. But the sort of performance you're going to get from this, I think people are going to enjoy it a lot. So again, we've got the licensed Daniel Defense quad rail with all the markings on it, so you can adjust and change up your loadout, as we were saying earlier. The licensed receiver that has the Daniel Defense deep engraved Black Creek markings on the side. Much prefer these to the laser engraving style. The deep engraving just adds a little bit extra to it. M4A1 and 5.56 laser engraved on there as real steel markings. Right-handed dominant and a 120 round mid-cap magazine lets you get this thing going quite quick. 7.4 crane or stick battery will fit neatly in the back. Sticking to that 7.4, it is a Dean's connector, so please be aware when you're looking at batteries for this. And even with a 7.4, this thing's kicking out 330 FPS and 16 rounds a second. So there's literally nothing to do with this apart from get it out of the box, plug a battery in it, get to a game, and have an absolute whale of a time. People are definitely going to have a chunk of fun with these. But very excited to see this first one. Can't wait to get the rest of them in and see if they do another colour as well, because the bronze ones are looking very interesting. But if that's everything for today, thank you very much for joining us. As always, appreciate the questions, makes it a lot easier. If you like what we're doing, please hit that subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube. Hit like, drop us a comment, it's seriously appreciated. But if that's everything, I'll be back again on Friday for another standard product showcase. As always, if there's something you want us to cover, drop us a message on Instagram and we'll see what we can do about getting it to the top of the list. But if that's everything, I'll see you in a bit. Bye.